WNEM TV5's Andrew Keller has his I-Team report.
A train passes through Anytown, Michigan, but it's not only train noise that pierces the everyday quiet. There's an epidemic on these streets, a drug tearing families apart.
We're all here for each other.
Every Monday night, moms, dads, children, people ripped apart by a hometown heroin epidemic meet at this church, a sanctuary to share support and heal. The group calls itself Families Against Narcotics. Each person here has lived or is living the nightmare of a heroin addiction.
I can't go down this path again.
Brenda Noose doesn't miss a week. Her son, 23-year-old Nicholas Noose, was addicted to heroin.
I tried very, very hard to be supportive. I told him I loved him. Told him that, we'd do everything we could to get him some help. And he just said, "Mom, I can't fight this. I'm going to die."
But Nicholas did put up a fight for 4 months, until October 20th, 2012, when he relapsed. He injected too much. Brenda was out of town when she got the news.
His dad stayed with him until he was completely gone. And I didn't find out about it until the next morning.
Yeah, I understand that.
Around this table in the pier, each share their story about drugs and their destruction. A group putting the new face of heroin in America in perspective.
Heroin is at an epidemic level in the state of Michigan and all over the country.
The heroin problem is spiraling so quickly out of control in our state. It now tops the list of drugs undercover police are working to get off the streets. Detective First Lieutenant Patrick Richard, the section commander for the Flint Area Narcotics Group, or FANG as it's known, says young adults are not the only ones shooting up.
On a daily basis, we can find kids in the city of Flint that are not just in the city of Flint, but in the general area buying their heroin, looking for their heroin.
Heroin is sold on the streets in packs, or what are called bindles. A bindle is about 1/10 of an ounce of heroin, and it's a serving size that is enough to get one high. Now, those bindles are typically wrapped up in old lottery tickets or possibly old gum wrappers. And if you're not looking for them, they can sneak right beneath your eye. The feds say nationwide, heroin usage has increased by nearly 50% in the last decade. It's an increase largely driven by young adults ages 18 to 25.
Vicodin and Oxycontin, and then they're starting off with those drugs and then going into heroin because it's cheaper on the street to use heroin.
Lisa Coleman is the manager of prevention services at Genesee Health Systems. She says heroin provides a similar high to prescription painkillers, but with a price that's right. That's exactly what drove Justin Pfeiffer to get hooked.
I used to shoot heroin every day for over 5 years. For me at the time, I could take, $40 worth of pills and a handful, and I'd maybe have to do that 2 or 3 times a day, or spend $10 or $20 for heroin for a day.
Pfeiffer got hooked into prescription painkillers while playing hockey in high school. When he turned 20, he was introduced to heroin.
I'm just a normal person that made some bad decisions that led me way out of the control of myself or anyone that wanted to help me. It just became this monster that was out of control.
He lost 50 pounds. His hygiene lacked, and he spent time in jail. His parents kicked him out of the house, and he lived in his truck. When he lost his truck, he lived on the streets. He expected to die.
There was lows where I probably was like, where I can remember being like, this isn't living. If this is living, I don't want this anymore.
The now 27-year-old is a recovering addict, clean for 1.5 years.
You really can't make anybody do anything that they don't want to do.
Helping others beat their monster.
Now I know somebody who it's happened to that is on the right path. That I needed that, like you wouldn't even imagine.
It's a path he could not have imagined too long ago.
But for someone that came from living in his truck and stuff, it's a big jump in 1.5 years.
And every week, this group meets, hoping to shine light on the underground world of hometown heroin and help others before it's too late.
And the people that think it can't happen to them, I'm sorry, but it can.
With this I-Team report, I'm Andrew Keller, WNEM TV5.
Wow.